Come in.
Morning, Keith.
Morning, Keith.
Ah, hello, Team 32. Look away, I'm welding.
So what do we owe this shower of molten metal?
Well. It appears that once again we are celebrating not only the annual Department Day, but also your annual forgetting of it. I'm just putting the finishing touches to my compulsory entry for the prize parade, which will no doubt comprehensively defeat your compulsory entry, in the celebration hangar at 6:15 this evening.
I see you're going with another blimp this year, Keith.
My blimps have taken home first prize for the last 9 years in a row. If I make it 10 by taking top gong again today, a 15-foot statue of yours truly will be erected in the Employee Hall of Merit.
Hold on, isn't that a 15-foot statue of you next to your filing cabinet?
Yep, seems sensible to get the ball rolling early. Anyway, your brief. The Department Committee strongly invites you to submit a researched brainstorm on how best to regulate and benefit from the rapid advances of modern science and technology.
Oh, busy day for you then, Laszlo.
On my desk by, when shall we say, 6.
Keith, did your statue just wink at me?
Nice feature, eh? Now clear off! I've got to embroider scenes from British naval history on my blimp.
See you later then, Keith.
Have fun, Keith.
Right. Jutland. Oh, briefing meeting terminated.
The Department. Far from the gaze of an unsuspecting public and untouched by the tentacles of Westminster, the Department has been secretly running the country since you don't have the brain or the stomach for that fact. Deep within its labyrinthine headquarters works a dedicated three-man think tank. Oscar Proud, insatiable sniffer-out and gobbler of historical truffles. Victor Gooch, who loiters on the unlit corners of law with a well-used cudgel. And Laszlo Wolf, doggy paddler across the shark-infested oceans of science. Each week, they are required to investigate possible solutions to one of the nation's major problems. Each week, your future is in their hands.
Here we are. This is the place I was telling you about. It's the Department's historical artefact tip.
Victor, how on earth is this repository of antique tat going to help us beat Keith in the parade?
Winning parades is all about winning people over, and history proves that there is nothing people respond more ecstatically to than freebies. Especially when those freebies are A, interesting historical artefacts, and B, fired into their midst from this sawn-off cannon. So take a bag each and start scavenging for ammunition.
Look at this! Henry VIII's chess set with the original bite marks on the Queen's and Bishop's heads.
And check this out, Winston Churchill's SS uniform.
Ha! I knew it!
And if I'm not very much mistaken, this is Mrs. Pankhurst's penis.
The traitor.
And whilst we're filling our swag bags, we should probably have a look at the brief. Alright, it says here, Laszlo, that your friend Science needs 24-hour-a-day supervision.
It sure does. When the world finally ends, you can be pretty sure that seconds before, a scientist somewhere will have said, whoops.
Yeah, closely followed by another one saying, I told you so, now give me my protractor back.
And it also points out that the advances of modern technology are too easily and too often mishandled.
True again. Hey, look.
You'll like this one, Oscar. It's Kaiser Wilhelm's First World War helmet.
Oh, Bagsy, that!
It's a perfect fit.
Oh, it's like I was born to wear it.
Right, well, we should have enough good stuff here to have the crowd at the parade baying for us to win.
Excellent. Let's get to the office.
Attention Department employees. The Board Games Modernisation Team announced the introduction of a new chess piece. The Exploding Dissident destroys itself and all enemy pieces in adjoining squares. This replaces the left-hand bishop, which will now be introduced to Scrabble.
Yeah, that department tree surgeon looked pretty upset at breakfast.
Yeah, well, he lost a tree during an operation this morning. Had to inform some pretty distraught saplings. And that's never easy.
If he couldn't handle it, he should have taken a pay cut and become a topiarist.
Testify.
Now, concentrate. The brief says that science was invented when two pioneering particles' experiment to create the small bang went significantly better than expected. Ever since then, science has coquettishly teased humanity's emotions by spending half of its time trying to work out how the world began, and the other half trying to work out how to end it.
Well, that is why the public has become contagiously sick of science and its bosom buddy technology washing their rusty metal hands of any kind of responsibility for the state of our planet's environment.
Come on, guys. God has been complacently snoozing on the job for literally ages. We should be on our knees thanking science for subbing itself on for the underperforming, well past his best, selected on reputation almighty lord.
Well, in that case, we'd better start treating scientists with more respect.
Now, science, like any aspiring blues funk fusion band, just wants to be listened to. There is only one known way in the modern world both to make the public listen to someone and to make that someone feel valued. So for the first time in 300 years, we're going to have to start treating our scientists like celebrities.
Step back! Everybody step back! Let the professor talk! Give the great man some space!
Loretta Ramirez, Pete Magazine's physics correspondent. Any news on your breakthrough?
I can't say anything right now. All I can confirm is that the release date of our brand new research paper will be April the 14th.
Matsui from Lads Magwallop! We've got paparazzi shots of you leaving Dr. Clemmy Rogers' lab at the Houston Institute of Astrophysics at 1 a.m. last Sunday night. Comments, please!
You're crossing the line, Sui. I'm just a normal scientist. I have a right to privacy in my own lab.
Professor!
Come on,
Matsui!
No!
Clemmy gonna collaborate in a research project, Professor!
Right, give me that camera. You're contaminating my image right.
Oh, this is the biggest story of the year. Science love rat, clonk snapper on his bonds. Get me the mag desk, fast.
Laszlo, the press are an unreliable 14th floor window to lean on.
Absolutely. As Confucius said about tabloid journalists, a leopard will never change the way it shits.
Anyway, we've got more concerning postcards to address. The brief highlights the worryingly intimate relationship between science and big business.
Yeah, show me a scientist with a decent car, and I'll show you an executive standing behind him, pointing a large cheque at the back of his head and telling him exactly what he's about to discover.
The fact is that capitalism's technological stranglehold has enabled it to hold the entire world to ransom, and no one has posted more threatening notes to the global letterbox than the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, if we don't want to be forced to keep acceding to their demands to pay up or die slowly, we are going to have to use all of our hostage negotiation know-how to force them into making a mistake.
Right, what is the situation, Constable Penshurst?
Well, Sergeant Park, there's a pharmaceutical company director barricaded up on the top floor. Now, he's got the cure for AIDS in there, and unless we meet his demands, he's going to shoot it.
Right, give me the megaphone. Who am I speaking to?
I am Lord Wappelshaw of Megasplode Incorporated.
Hello!
Hello!
What is it that you want?
We want £34 billion.
I better haggle.
Will 34 billion do?
Yeah, you've got yourself a deal.
Sarge, I think we could use his own avarice against him. Let's lure him out with the money.
You take over. I've got a dead leg.
Lord Wappelshaw!
What?
We have your money!
Oh, great. Right, well, I'll settle down to pick it up straight away.
Bingo. Sarge, you delay him. I'll dash in and rescue the cure for AIDS.
Good idea.
Hello.
Hello.
Give me the money.
No.
You said you would.
No, I didn't.
Well, that's not fair.
Sarge!
What?
We've got the cure for AIDS!
You little shit!
The game's up, Wappelshaw.
No, it isn't. If you don't give me back the cure for AIDS, then I will destroy all known formulas for the elastoplast.
No! My son scraped his knee this morning, you heartless bastard! I'm gonna have to give it back!
Don't do it, Penshurst!
Catch!
Got it. Thank you. Good day, gentlemen.
Don't let him get away, Sarge!
All units, prepare to storm the building!
What are you doing, Sarge? He's left the building!
Oh, sorry, I've already ballsed this up, haven't I?
Oh, don't even bother chasing it.
Look, we can avoid all these hypothetical pitfalls if we can only encourage science to work for the greater good of humanity.
Well, I know exactly how to motivate any scientist, and it isn't by waving a handful of £2 coins under their noses and trusting that they'll follow you back to your shed. What scientists are motivated by is a good race. In that respect, if admittedly few others, scientists are very similar to Nigel Mansell.
Well, I think you're right, Laszlo. After all, it was the ding-dong rivalry between communism and capitalism which pushed the space race along at such suspiciously breakneck speed. So, let's make our thoroughbred scientists race each other for the sake of both public entertainment and scientific progress.
Welcome back to Uttoxeter Science Park for the final race on this afternoon's card. For those of you waiting for the result of the steward's inquiry into the Médecins Sans Frontières malaria vaccine chase, I can tell you that race winner Placebo Prince has been stripped of his victory for experimenting on an uninfected mosquito. But now all eyes are on our main race of the day, the 350 Superconductor Discovery Sprint. So let's cross over straight away to Cornelius Lysett, and with him, science whiz Professor Hunter Banks.
Yes, thanks, Claire. And the overwhelming 11-4 on favourite is Neutronic, trained by Aeronautics International and owned by the US military. And Professor, didn't he look magnificent parading around the paddock in his lab coat?
Well, Cornelius, that's probably because he's had 10 times more funding than any other scientist on this race. He's going to be very tough to beat. Superconductivity, of course, promises zero resistance electricity transmission, and that makes it just about the biggest commercial prize available in science today.
They're under starters' orders, and they're away. Half-Life Henry is into the lab first, and he's already cooling his sample with liquid helium. Already struggling is the rank outside of the government-owned scientist Hawkins Fluke, wearing those trademark blinkers to stop him being distracted from the greater rewards available in the private sector.
He's just piddling around with some iron filings. Oh dear.
But now, drama at the furlong pole. A protester has thrown herself in front of one of the scientists, the rusty tripod, I think, screaming something about superconductivity for women. They're into the home straight now. Neutronic hits the front, whipping himself with his thermocouple. And yes, he's confirmed that the phase transition to superconductivity has occurred. Neutronic wins, and it's a photo between particle terror and total guesswork for a frankly irrelevant second place.
And Neutronic may well have heralded the end of human reliance on fuel-based power today. And the crowd are going wild at the potential geopolitical consequences.
Give that scientist a sugar lump.
To me, it seems an awful lot of effort to go to, considering the universally acknowledged fact that 95% of the world's greatest scientific breakthroughs have been made completely by accident.
Yeah, penicillin, for example.
Exactly.
Alexander Fleming's unattended bacteria dish would never have developed penicillin for him if he hadn't happened to play such a world-class game of hide-and-seek in his lab's tea break.
And parts of Japan would have far fewer flashy modern buildings if little Ernie Rutherford hadn't accidentally tripped over his dog whilst running with scissors and landed on an atom.
Indeed. So the department set up a research circus where they're using comically accident-prone scientists to try to fluke a major breakthrough.
Oh, yippee! Let's go down there on the way to lunch.
Attention department employees. The Animal Rights Committee acknowledged that they went too far when demanding that wasps facing death by swatting should be constitutionally entitled to a jury trial.
Top hats on. I've got your ringside seats. Do enjoy the spectacle.
Send in the clowns.
Oh, being in a big top reminds me of being in the womb.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready to witness potentially epoch-defining advances in science? Then please welcome the hilarious Professor Bonzo, MBE.
Here I come.
And look, he's carrying a tray of test tubes containing various chemicals. Ooh, be careful of the banana skin, Professor.
Ooh. Oh no!
The chemicals are reacting together all over his face!
This is the funniest thing I have ever seen.
But look, it now seems the concoction is hardening into a metallic coating on his skin.
Is this a breakthrough?
Breakthrough confirmed. Professor Bonzo has stumbled upon a way of fortifying human skin tissue into a protective armour.
That's great news for the military!
Let's now corroborate his findings by driving a tiny car filled with 42 other scientists straight into him.
I didn't feel a thing!
Findings corroborated. Thank you, Professor Bonzo, and thank you all for coming. And please, if you've enjoyed it, do tell your friends.
Oh no! One of my research lions has escaped!
Look behind you, Laszlo!
Now, Bonzo, any chance you could stop your research lion gnawing on my arm? I'll meet you two at lunch.
OK, it's next door in the research fairground for some reason.
Oh, that's because as part of Department Day celebrations, if you want to eat a meal, you've got to get down to one of their stalls and win it. I'll have 2 hoops, please, Chef.
Right, old Gooch. Throw your first hoop over the ingredients you want, and the second one over the utensils you want me to cook it with.
I fancy the iguana steak. Here goes. Whoops.
Oh, you've hooked that horribly, Victor. It's landed on my wife's gravestone.
You shouldn't bring it to work.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about your wife, Chef. She's not dead. They just had a 2-for-1 on when the budgie passed on.
Oh, it does so bad then.
Right, second-o.
Bend?
Oof, gravestone. Probably poach it.
You're the expert. Whoops.
One toasted gravestone coming right up. Yum, yum.
Hello, guys.
Where'd you get that trolley full of rabbit burritos?
Oh, just won 16 lunches betting in the walrus fighting tent. Slapping Wilf the Alaskan honker really came through for me. He's an animal.
Hello there, Team 32.
Keith.
Won anything resembling a respectable lunch yet?
I'm just about to try for a dessert from the Test Your Strength machine.
Do you want a hand lifting up that mallet, Oscar?
No, I don't.
You are...
Congratulations, Oscar. You've won a spoon's worth of gooseberry full. Bon appetit. Step aside. It's pudding time for KB. Ka-sham!
You are... Iron Man!
Oh, yeah. Quadruple pavlova. I'm not even hungry. Sit down, Oscar. Sit down. Oh, and 32, I do hope that your parade entry will be better than your usual annual disgrace.
Keith, we're going to take your crown like a peckish French mob.
Well, if I didn't know you better, which of course I do, I'd think you were planning the old firing free gifts into the crowd schmozzle.
Oh.
Well, think harder. My Incrediblimp does that, and much, much more. Smells like someone's gravestone's burning.
Oh, no! It's all right. I like my granite charred.
Attention department employees. The Institutional Narcotics Division announced that religion is to be reclad as the methadone of the masses. Opium will be reinstated as the opium of the masses, and politics will be phased in as the beta blocker of the masses.
We have to stop Keith winning the parade. I'm not walking past a statue of him every day until I'm finally fired.
Well, there's only one thing for it.
I like where this is going.
Sabotage.
Yes, Laszlo's ball! I didn't unfairly win my school sabotage cup 12 years in a row without learning the A to Z of destroying other people's dreams. I will have a plan in place for us by the end of the afternoon.
Next in the brief, keeping control of technological progress.
Well, I say 11 binary cheers for technology. Nature is showing no sign of hauling its inefficient, arcane, almost wantonly random carcass into the modern era.
It's got to go.
So the ideal scenario is that nature will be entirely phased out by 2035. That's the technological dream, and it's bang on track.
On the minor side, technology is making it increasingly hard to achieve life's two greatest pleasures, solitude and death.
But on the plus side, it's also making all the tedious practical aspects of life much faster and more efficient. But the incredible advantages that computerized intelligence has over its human predecessor must be applied across all areas of modern life.
You're right, and nothing needs a technological rocket launched up its arse as pressingly as our willfully cumbersome legal system.
Calling the case of the Crown against Salvador Wong, presided over by His Honour CompuJudge 3000X. Court is in session.
Input the charge.
Causing grievous bodily harm with intent.
GBH charge registered. Insert case discs.
Mr. Bunyan, Miss Bevan, could you just pop the discs into CompuJudge's mouth drive, please? Thank you.
Processing case. Verdict reached.
Will the defendant please stand?
CompuJudge finds the defendant guilty.
Oh, no.
Press the green key to appeal.
Mr. Wong?
Might as well. Nothing to lose.
CompuJudge finds the defendant still guilty.
Bit of a long shot, eh?
Nice try. Please select mode of sentencing.
What are my options, Miss Bevan?
It's offering you either a standard custodial term of 11 years, or alternatively the Incarcerax Rapid Correctional Tank, which will condense the entire experience of your 11-year jail term into 10 seconds of unrivaled hell.
I'll take it.
Activate Incarcerax.
In your pot, Mr. Wong?
Initiate sentence.
Oh yeah! You can feel rehabilitation through the floor! That's what I'm talking about!
Let me out! Parole denied.
Just a couple more seconds. Welcome back to society.
I will never commit another crime again.
Justice served.
All rise!
Put me back in there. It's the only life I know.
Well, let's not stop with law. Computers have already proved they can beat humans at chess, mental arithmetic, map reading and parenting. And politics will be next.
Well, I like the sound of that. Although I think we'd lose something if we replaced all politicians with metal MPs. Human error is part of politics.
Try telling that to the former population of Cambodia.
And how are we planning to stop these robot politicians overriding their idealistic programming at the first sign of economic downturn?
Well, good point. As white wine spritzer-faced Justin in the picture and piano can testify, advances can go too far, too fast. Both he and science in general are going to have to abide by strict restraining orders to keep them in check.
Well, let's take genetics for a start. To the misinformed layman, it seems that science is just a few good days in the lab away from being able to offer the ultimate designer baby to today's demanding parents. Science must be regulated to prevent it spawning another super race.
Nice point.
So the first regulatory strictures we need to impose are worldwide limits on exactly how special anyone's special little boy or girl can truly be.
Right, Mr. and Mrs. Blige, let's allocate your prospective son's genetic budget. Now, you have a maximum of 50 aptitude points to give, which you can either spread evenly across all character categories if you want a nice, rounded, unexceptional child, or if you're feeling lucky, you could take a bit of a punt on a flawed genius.
Oh, that sounds fun. Let's go for that.
Yes, I just want my boy to have the mental and physical opportunities that I never had.
Righto, first category, out of 10, please, for speed.
10.
Right, that's only going to leave you with 40 for the rest of his entire personality.
10. I've always wanted a really fast boy.
It's all he's ever talked about, Doctor. We can make it up with a negative score on something like social skills.
Next category, self-confidence.
1. I want to do some hardcore mothering.
1. As per usual. Next category, capacity for remembering...
Excuse me, Doctor, how long's this going to take?
Probably about half an hour.
Oh, it's just we've got tickets to go and meet our next-door neighbour's new wife.
This is your child's life that we're dealing with.
Well, isn't there a randomiser button you can press for the rest?
Yeah, there is, but I'm really not actually supposed to...
Oh, go on.
Yeah, go on.
No, it is quite fun to press. Make a wish. Oh! Well, I'll just print this off for you, shall I? Now, I'm going to need your sperm and eggs to give to the breeding team, so, Mr. Blige, if you can just chuck me your little flask.
Will do.
And, Mrs. Blige, can you just crack a couple of your eggs into that? And here's your son's personality printout.
Oh, my beautiful boy. Won't he be wonderful?
Yeah, he looks great. Hold on, does that say Muslim?
It might be too late for that. The genetic cat is already well out of its moral bag and is meowing all the way to the bank.
Yep, football clubs have already bought many of the world's most promising genes.
Yeah. And Stockport County successfully bred Pele with Terry Butcher in a test tube to create the world's most complete footballer.
Successfully?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a girl.
Look, it is becoming increasingly clear to me that human nature sees itself as a moral chiropractor, violently bending, stretching and manipulating rules and regulations until they pretend there isn't a problem anymore just to get out of the door.
Well, if regulation isn't going to work unaided, what we need is a strict code of ethics.
Good idea.
Perhaps modern science would rein in its most controversial excesses if scientists were personally forced to tread their own way across the increasingly explosive ethical minefield.
Scientists, gather round. I need 3 volunteers to negotiate their way through stem cell research. Who fancies being a hero?
Me! I'll go, Professor Richards!
Dr. Guest?
Me too!
Dr. Robshaw? No one else? Right, Andre, helmet on, this is your big chance. Ready?
Yeah!
Yes!
Away you go! Be careful of the implications!
My professional integrity!
Sir, Dr. Guest is trotting on the intractable question of whether stem cell science could be used for morally dubious purposes!
I thought it was just a harmless grey area.
Leave him, Robshaw, you can't help him now. Stick to the centre ground.
Medic!
It looks pretty clear here, Professor. Ah! My reputation has been blown to pieces!
Damn it, man! Couldn't you see the medical dangers implicit in this area of research?
Oh, the stigma!
Okay, Andre, it's just you now.
I want to come back!
Can you see any ethical minds in front of you?
Yes, there's one! Ah!
Stay calm, Andre, and don't move. It should have a serial number on the top. Can you read it?
ITB 149 asterisk.
Pass me the manual. Oh. It's the huge philosophical quandary of what areas stem cell experimentation should be restricted to.
Not the quandary!
Pull yourself together, man! The argument the manual suggests defusing this one with is that the proven pros could well outweigh the hypothetical cons.
That is hopelessly naive, Professor!
Damn it, Andre, it's all we've got.
I can't do it! I'm gonna run for it! Ah!
No, Andre, don't!
I'm running like the wind! The ethics can't see me if I've got my eyes!
Right. Team B,
Yes, sir.
Prof. On my whistle.
Great! A scientific community terrified to the point of paralysis by the self-same explosive devices with which they helped to furnish the world so plentifully. The perfect compromise. Well, disc up the chute then, Laszlo. Right, it's time to rain on Keith's parade. Sergeant Saboteur?
Reporting for duty.
What's the plan?
OK, balaclava's on. This is how this caper is going to go down. I am going to get to Keith's blimp and replace the helium with its much lighter gaseous friend, hydrogen. That should float him up too high for the judges to be able to admire the intricate detail in the stitching or the subtle mastery of his piloting skills. Meanwhile, Victor, you grab onto the back of the blimp and shout abuse at the judges through this megaphone whilst doing your best Keith impression.
Roger.
Oscar, we know your social qualms mean you're a bit uneasy about this kind of thing, so just wander around and try to create a diversion.
I'll wear Kaiser Wilhelm's helmet.
Whoa, that's got a pretty big spike, Oscar.
Right, backup balaclava's on. Let's go.
Hello down there, Team 32. I think win number 10's in the bag.
We'll see about that, Keith. Victor, you in position?
The jackal flies on the back of the blimp.
Anyway, can't chat, Laszlo. I've just got to do an aerial triple salco in front of the judges' desk.
Victor, now.
Hello down there, judges.
What?
I am King Bill.
What's going on?
And you morons can kiss my behind.
Oh, Your Honours, I'm being sabotaged.
Do not give me first prize.
Hey, Laszlo, that hydrogen's taking Keith's blimp pretty high there.
This plan, Oscar, is as flawless as a bombed-out bungalow.
Look at me up in the blimp. I'm flipping you the bird.
Yeah, it's just Wendy's next in the parade with her very realistic remote-control pasta replica of the original 18th century Spitfire.
Oh yeah, the one that actually spat fire.
Yep. Doesn't hydrogen have quite a tempestuous relationship with the open flame?
Guess it can do, yeah.
Mayday, mayday. Pasta Spitfire coming in at 3 o'clock. Jackal abandoning blimp. 100, 200, 300, 4.
Someone's going to pay for this.
Look out, Oscar, Keith's falling right at you.
I'll catch him.
Ow! Oscar, you've kebabbed me on the Kaiser's hat.
Oh dear, Keith, you should have worn a parachute. I had a spare one as well. That must be galling.
Oh no, everything's going dark. Tell my desk I love it.
Hang in there, Keith.
Do you know what? I think I will. Yes, worst's over. Right. Someone's going to pay for the attempted murder of Keith Bilk.
It was Oscar.
It was Oscar.
Oh, thank you very much.
The Department was written and performed by John Oliver and Andy Zaltzman and featured Chris Addison with Peter Dickson, Matthew Holness and Lucy Montgomery. Cornelius Lycett and Claire Balding raced each other over 5 furlongs and couldn't even be separated by a photo. The superconductivity consultant was Dr. Orstwick. Produced by Richard Grocock. The Department is an Avalon production for BBC Radio 4. Night-night.